Alright guys, I'm here playing I'm still playing the majespecters, and I'm going up against, right now, Gradles. So I actually opened up pretty good, because I opened up the filled spell, which allows me to search for raccoon, and it doesn't matter where cat goes, as long as cat was summoned successfully, I get to activate cat's effect. So I decided to just go ahead and get raccoon to get another monster. He just goes for Mother Grizzly, and he decides to not attack Raccoon, which either way he normal summoned Mother Grizzly so that he would get the Supply Squad and Mother Grizzly effect. I don't know why he wouldn't have. But I'll go ahead and swap out for Fox so I can get the Fox search. And I decide to get rid of my Fox early so I can pendulum it back out. And I go for Unicorn so that if he tries to do anything, I can just Unicorn it, which is Bounce Bounce. And I also don't like having cat in attack mode. Um, Here I unicorn, and he quits because his monster is going to go back to his hand. And his Gradle split is going to be absolutely useless. So I actually opened up pretty good against the Gradles. Now I'm facing some Infornoid Shadals. So it would be based off getting the Fire Fusion, which is Crystal. So we send Squamata so we can send Beast to draw a card. I just go for the Raccoon, and he's going to El Shadal Fusion into Crystal. He's going to get back the Falco. I just decide to get rid of the Crystal, and he quits. I was going to Pendulum 2 back out, and I don't see a point in wasting Cyclone on the Falco, so I was just going to attack it. I mean, this deck is really good, guys. My opponent's playing a, I guess, funner deck, which is Exodius with the new Summoned Lord Exodia and the new Exod Flame. So he actually opens up with the MST for the Majestic Pegasus. So he does play like, it's pretty much a combination of all the Exodia cards. And he keeps returning Flameville Guard back to the hand. So here he gets out the Exodius, attacks for 1,000. Uh, that was actually a smart play, but Exod Flame says you can target one monster on the field. So he could have returned my Fox instead. But he's just using it to get pieces in the grave while bouncing back a Flamefell Guard. So since an effect activated, I decided to Tornado it so the Exod would be banished. So I just decided to go for a big Pendulum play. Get some damage in there. Like, I don't know that he was returning a Flameville card. I just know that he was returning something. And here's where I wanted to know what he kept returning. So I had to waste a lot of stuff to get around it. I had to destroy 2 monsters that I can pendulum back out and 2 trap and a spell and a trap just to make it to where he wouldn't bounce it back during his turn. So that way I could swing for game. Now I'm facing some heroes. So he starts off with the set Vanity's Fiendish Chain and a Mirror Force. So I just pretty much make sure that I can protect Cat. If they try to do anything, I can get rid of Cat, and then I'll still have a Mirror Force. Wavering Eyes is set just because I don't know if my opponent is playing Pendulums or not. So I like setting it. So he summons the Bubble Man. I'll take the damage. It's just a Bubble Man. So I go and I decide to not go for the big pendulum play of 1 because he does have 4 face downs and I decide to play it safe. So main phase 2 I just set Tornado and Summoner Monk. I negate the Summoner Monk and he quits. I don't know why he would have quit. He had a Vanities, a Fiendish Chain, which does nothing to this deck really. Because I'll just pop my own monster. A Mirror Force and a Call the Haunted. Now, that's at least some stalling that could have been done. Instead of, I didn't get my Summoner Monk off, I leave. Now I'm facing UA. From what little knowledge of UA I know, it's don't let UA midfielder out on board. I just add Raccoon so I can add something later on. Uh, he reasonings, and I don't guess right, because I don't want Decatron hitting the board. So he gets out of midfielder, and he lances it, and then I change Torrential. So I kind of make him cry, because I get rid of his midfielder. So I go for a pendulum play of the Coon, so that way I can still normal summon Crow, and that way I can still destroy a monster he has. And I still set the Wavering just in case he wanted to MST, but he doesn't have a good hand for anything, so he just scoops it up. Alright, guys. This is one of the better duels that I've had with the majespecters, and I'm facing an Assault Mode deck. It's a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. So I decided to destroy the Krebons, especially since I only have Cat on board. And I decide not to go with Unicorn and the Pendulum, so that way I can actually normal it later on. So he decides to Krebons, which I'm okay with because he'll wind up taking more damage and I can get rid of him. Here, I misplay because I should have targeted the Krebons instead, but I targeted the Armageddon Knight, which was a bad play on my behalf because he didn't need the Armageddon Knight. But if I did destroy the Armageddon Knight, he would. If I did destroy the Krebons, he wouldn't have done. He wouldn't have got out the Stardust Dragon. So here's where he goes into Stardust Assault mode. So now I know I have to burn some stuff to get around it. So I'll Pendulum Summon out, get some searches. I decide to go for a Rebellion, just so I can get some damage in. I just went for an attack. I went for a card I knew he would negate, because if he didn't negate Dark Rebellion, he would have been beat over. So now the Assault mode comes out. I decide to get rid of this one. So Stardust Dragon's effect is now negated, so he won't be coming back. It's negate and destroy. So he makes another Stardust and gets in assault mode to hand. So I have to get over it again, and I decide to MST the one I knew wasn't the assault mode. So I pendulum stuff back out, and I misplay yet again because he has two raccoons underneath, which is 24, and a fox, which is 39. So that was exactly game that I had, but I decided to. What I was looking to do was to crash and then deal 35, but I could have used Unicorn's effect to bounce Unicorn and to bounce Stardust, which he would have. Either way, if he negated it or he didn't negate it, I would have attacked for 3,900. My opponent actually noticed that, and I didn't, and he was nice enough to actually correct me on that play. So I goof, you know, but he has to top deck while I can bring back at least one monster and have two in hand, have three in hand. So he goofed. It was my bad that, well, I goofed, not he goofed, but I goofed, and I just go for another big pendulum. I do it enough to just have game, but it could have went a lot easier than I made it be. Now we got some Dark World action going on. I don't know why people have started playing Dark Worlds recently, but they have. I essentially just go for a big turn one pendulum play, which is very rare with this deck, in all honesty, but it is there, and I do like it. I don't like that I pendulumed out threes, and I can only get rid of one cat. So I decide to uh, not have Tornado, even though it would have been very good against Graph. Yeah, I believe it's Graph. So I just go and I pendulum out one more so I can get another Ignister out. And since, again, I didn't do damage calculation, I could have made it game with Majester the Paladin. But instead, I specialed him in defense instead of attack. And if I got the extra attack in, it would have been game. But my opponent doesn't really do a whole lot. He summons Tour Guide, and I get rid of his monster, so he doesn't do a whole lot, but I could have made a game. Playing against some Prophecy, which is a deck I haven't seen in a long while, but I don't know why he's maining the Kaikos. I don't understand the Kaiko. I decide to get rid of the Kaiko so I don't take the damage. And I joined a Pegasus, but I can't use it. And I decided to get rid of the Grand Spellbook as soon as possible. I believe I did see the Priestess, so I was very wary of the Priestess being summoned and knew I needed to banish it. So here's where he goes for the priestess. I don't know why he didn't know that that was going to happen, but he does get rid of Cyclone. So he attacks me with a Kaiko. And I decide to pendulum out. I do like that I can pendulum out Archfiend Eccentric, just because it's a very good spot removal, and I can actually use its pendulum effect as well, of course. I just like that I can pendulum it out due to I don't have to waste a Mage Spectre spell and trap. So he has a Bottomless and a Mirror Force. The Mirror Force and Bottomless don't hurt me because they cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So he quits because he knows it's game.